Hey guys, this is Anon, and today I have what I would consider a real gem in the VK 30.01P, the Tier 6 German medium. This is a tank I kind of discovered as I was going back and replaying some older tanks, and what for me makes this thing really special is it has the very famous 88 gun that you typically see more at Tier 7 and Tier 8, but you get it at Tier 6 here, and for the tier, it's just fantastic. Most of the specs for the gun put it kind of right on par with other Tier 6 mediums, but for me what makes it special is it's higher alpha at 220 than you usually find at 6, which lets you shoot and hide a lot more than a lot of other tanks do with the smaller kind of low alpha guns that make you stay out into it. And it's really got a pretty strong turret too. It's not necessarily the most mobile, but it's got a nice armor profile that handles really well at 6 and really does pretty well at 7. So it's a tank that I really love at 6, and I've had some monster games. On my way to 100 battles, I kind of lost track of how many aces I had recorded, so just decided grab a few great ones, and we're going to start with one here that is a really nice one. So I'm platooned with Howitzer, and you can see here on Castilla, and I'm already kind of up here at the church. Usually in these lower tiers I don't go mill because typically the low tiers like to come up here and fight, so that's why I'm going to use my turret armor and this great gun to kind of come right up in here into the way, and it's a good choice because a lot of them did come this direction, but unfortunately our team is dropping pretty quick. So here you can see where I'm obviously going to struggle a little bit with a really fast light, and I'm missing a few of those, but the great armor is bouncing a ton of shells off that fantastic pen that the Leo has, so I can really sit here and brawl with multiple tanks. So I'm just kind of throwing that armor out there as much as possible. This is kind of a crazy situation, but I ended up losing all my teammates on this side, so I'm just kind of fighting it, utilizing that armor, keeping it forward. You can see the pretty decent side armor. It's got some good side scraping ability. Against Tier 7s it's not going to do as well, but in this situation it's just a really great brawler. It's not going to outperform as far as speed and maneuverability, but it's just got that nice stability that lets you really kind of take on a lot of tanks. So able to dispatch with them rather quickly, so I'm going right back up because now I've lost my platoon mate and it's getting close to a 1 versus 3 situation, which is okay. It's just kind of what happens in these, so it allows you to kind of have those big games. So I saw the Shinobi up here, so I'm going to roll right back up and take him on, which luckily this is still low tier, so he's kind of coming in butt first here, and he's got super slow traverse, so I kind of want to go right at him because I also know that the Shinobi has really poor gun depression, so he's going to struggle to get down on my front plate. But I also don't want to be too poked out because there were some tanks more over in that mill area and I don't want to get sniped. So I'm really trying to keep the pressure on him. He's trying to hit the corner angles in there, but at that kind of close range it's a little bit tough to hit because I'm making it difficult on him and hitting his gun back and forth. So I want to stay on this high ground as much as possible, so I'm just kind of popping back and forth. I saw a tank over here to the left, so that's why I'm rolling back a little bit. But since nothing gets spotted, I'm rolling around to this backside. This backside is really good in early and late game situations because it's very defendable. So I was just kind of hoping they would move towards cap and maybe I could spot something coming up towards it, which is exactly what happens. And now I've worked down into a 1 versus 1 situation, which is a lot more where I want to be at. But with that M4, I have absolutely no clue how much health he had because I haven't really paid attention to him. My hands have been pretty full up here, so I just need to be careful about it. And that's why I'm peeking again, just kind of double checking that I'm not lost, and it is just an M4. So I'm going to go ahead and roll up. I'm not thinking about really capping at this point because the problem with capping is that he could get one shot on the way into me and I don't want to risk that. So instead I'm kind of doing some distance side scraping off the end of this building. I can't really tell what gun he has. If it's the derp and I could tell, I would just charge right at him, but since I don't know that for sure, and being a late game situation is why I'm going to go ahead and switch to it, and that also lets me have just enough peek where I can tell it's not the derp. So he could definitely pen me. The M4's got a really fantastic gun, and he's up a shot. So I still have to be a little bit careful with it. You don't, at low tiers, tanks in general are a lot more fragile. Like Howitzer's confidence here with the easy win, but still technically against a tier 5, like if he knows what he's doing, this could definitely not be so easy. So I'm just going to kind of work my way in. This is one of those situations where I actually like the low ground because he is never going to be able to have quite that much gun depression, and I can use this ridgeline to keep myself pretty safe. So roll back in there, you can see it. The danger of running into a tank like that that has good pen, that I'm rolling away and he's still able to put a shot into me. Missing that one makes me a little bit more nervous because obviously it's a situation where he could still come back and win that, but I want the good hit. Unfortunately, kind of a low roll there because this does average 220, but I'm able to get that nice HE round in there to finish it. And for the VK at tier 6, this is a pretty monster game. If I remember right, I'm only within, I could wait and see the damage tool here, I can't remember for sure. Right, 3,900. I think that ended up being within a shot or two of the Hall of Fame game, so monster game in this tank. But it's one of those that I feel like you shoot and shoot and shoot, and it racks up really quickly because of that high alpha, a lot more than other than tier 6 tanks. So more reasons why I just really enjoy it. Okay, so switching over now to a game on Lost Temple. Again, with these low tiers, you have to either kind of decide to go with the pack or go against it and know what your advantages are. Like I did on Castilla, I went ahead and went up to the church area, but here on Lost Temple, with a strong turret, even though a lot of my team is going to go into the river, looks like they're actually starting to follow me a little bit now, which is great. I still want to go up and take advantage of this temple area, and also seeing the matchup on the other team, I think there's a chance maybe we can pick a few of them off up here, so I want to go ahead and do that first. Especially, and you can see the temple, some destructibles fall in the background, which is exactly what I want to see when I'm coming up here like this, because it means I'm going to be able to poke out and instantly start getting shots. And so now this is where this tank is really fantastic, and something I love about it a lot. That high alpha means you're exposed less to do the same amount of damage. So even though the DPM isn't absurdly high, it's pretty standard at tier 6, I'm still not spending as much time with my tank exposed. So I'm turning here. I don't normally want to carry about anything except what's right in front of me when I'm up here on the steps, but having a KV-1 behind me, it could be rather dangerous. So now I'm just going to have to keep an eye on him, and that Wolverine now that he's poking back, so it really just lets me know I can't roll back too far because the back of this tank will be exposed. It's pretty long, and so I'm usually really just using the mini-map here to kind of keep an eye on it. Luckily, I'm not giving him a big cross-section of the back of me, like I said, because I'm being careful about it, so I'm bouncing a few shots off. But now that this Wolverine has worked all the way up here, it's a bigger priority. I know I'm going to take that shot because I got tracked way too exposed. So now I'm essentially flipping. I have to be careful about my back here, but that Wolverine can't be up and kind of picking away at the backside of the tank. It's something you have to be really careful about. So the KV-1 seems content to hide, so again, I'm not going to worry about him too much. I'm just going to take whatever shots I get. I'm not real picky when I'm up on the top of this temple like this. Any tank that's going to give me a clean shot where I can be safe, I'm going to go ahead and take it. I don't really care where their health level's at. If two are like this right in front of me, I'm going to take the lower health shot to try and get rid of him, but otherwise, I don't really care what I'm shooting at. I'm just trying to farm damage because I still have to kill all of these tanks, and so that's exactly what I'm doing here, just kind of whittling my way through. Kind of making it look easy here, but it's all about positioning and knowing your tank. I know I have a strong turret, especially since I'm top tier, so I want to take advantage of that as much as possible. And now I have a few less shots than I necessarily did before, but there's no reason to run off the temple as long as they're still exposing, because you've got to conserve hit points as much as you can for the end. I know we're up 4 tanks here, and this is looking like a roll, but you just don't want to risk that kind of thing here. And I feel like when you're top tier in this tank, this is what seems to happen a lot. It carries really well, but you can be in these situations with a lot of hit points left at the end just because it has a really nice makeup all the way around. It's a very defensible medium, especially for the tier. Tier 6, not a lot of mediums have strong turret armor, so it's just one more thing that I personally really like about this tank. You're really just sacrificing mobility, but as long as you're getting yourself in a good position, you can make up for that pretty much any time. So it's a lot of its playstyle. I like a lot of different mediums for different reasons, but I always like a nice ammo rack there at the end. But again, not a very exciting game, but like I said, it's very much about positioning, and that's what I really wanted to focus on that battle there a little bit, especially with the nice hold down ability on this tank. Okay, and one more battle to show some difference, and also this happens to be a tier 7 battle, so I always like to throw in a low tier battle when I can. It's just sometimes when you're grinding tanks that doesn't happen quite as easily. If you end up in a 1 vs 3, 1 vs 4 situation, when you're top tier, it's obviously easier to come back and get the Koblanovs, but when you're facing 3 tanks that are higher than you, those don't happen quite as often, so it's just kind of the nature of the beast. But luckily this one I was able to pull off a nice game and show something different. So we're here on Dead Rail, and I really split 50-50 whether at this point whether I go to the valley or come up here to the hills. I used to be hills only. But if I've got something with good spotting ability or a good turret, I'm more likely to go down. But with this situation and seeing pretty early my team's going to scatter, I'd rather take this high ground and spot up here and work my way down. Sometimes you can just tell by team makeup kind of what the battle's going to look like, and I was pretty sure this was going to be tough right off the bat. So I'm going to go ahead and start working in these, hoping because I'm low tier that the spots that I was picking up that they would they'd be able to start to pick some tanks off kind of on the way as they work up to me, but everything kind of stopped, which is okay too. So I'm just looking for those easy shots again and staying safe, because we're so anytime you have your own team that's this spread out, there's a good chance that you're going to be down tanks at some point, or at the very least, if I'm the only one alive and my TDs are that far away, they're not going to be able to provide much help. So just need to be really cautious with everything, and there's some other pretty good sized tanks in this game, so it's just something I have to be careful of. So I'm the only one up here, and so I'm going to be careful about how I engage these guys. I see the other VK starting to work up towards me, so I'm trying to get in a position where I can roll back down a little bit. This tank has just enough gun depression that you can make it work for you, but it's not really a ridgeline fighter. So I'm just trying to be careful. Now when they have 3 tanks up here, there's really not anything else I can do. I'm not going to be able to hold that high ground. But this hill is so steep that there's not a ton of tanks that are going to be able to get their guns all the way down to me. So I'm just kind of working my way back behind, hoping I can sneak a few shots in and start to draw them out for my team, which worked a little bit. That VK took a shot from my team and they can't get their guns down on me right here. So this isn't a position that always works, but for this situation it worked really nicely because I'm able to get below their guns, pick off some little damage here and there, and again, this is why I like the alpha on this gun. Every time they poke out, if I have to trade, unless it's one of the tier 7 tanks, I'm pretty much going to win that trade every time. So here is why I'm drawing. This is a great position. I'm drawing them out because they're getting shot by tanks they can't necessarily see. It's just using your team as strong as you can. So every time they poke out, I'm getting those shots, racking up some assistance damage here at the same time. And now I've kind of whittled down 3 full health tanks to close to 1 shots each, and that's why I'm starting to push around the backside. Unfortunately, I don't get my gun down enough and missed that shot, but able to go ahead and still finish him off and back up. That nice front plate's bouncing here, so now I can keep rolling around, and I've essentially won the hill back, which is just good work. Taking my time, being patient with it, letting your team help you out. Sometimes you really just have to let your team do some work. Even bad teams, if you're drawing tanks out into the complete open, they're still going to be able to get the job done. So that's really what I was hoping for there, and it worked fantastic. So I was checking on the HE there just because I couldn't remember the pen. Obviously didn't work, but still was able to finish him off pretty easily, get the last kill for the top gun, and that's going to be an easy ace with assistance damage in a tier 7 battle. But just doing a good job of kind of using the situation as you can, and this tank is just so versatile that it let me kind of play it in a couple different roles there. I even picked up a steel wall as a low tier, which is always kind of a fun situation. So I hope this helped you with this tank a little bit. It's one I really enjoy, and it's definitely one worth revisiting if you kind of glanced over it at first or haven't played it yet. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe on YouTube and follow on Twitch. We've got some contests and some giveaways coming up on Twitch here really soon because we've hit some milestones, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Thanks a lot, guys.